Chapter 3, Book 2. Begin each day with a reminder to yourself. Today I will inevitably encounter people who are nosy, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and antisocial. It's important to understand that such behaviors stem from their lack of understanding of what is truly good or bad. Unlike them, I have come to recognize the beauty in goodness and the ugliness in badness. I also understand that those who do wrong are not fundamentally different from me. We share not only common ancestry, but also a part of the same universal intelligence and divinity. Bearing this in mind, I realize that I cannot be harmed by their actions, for nobody can impose their negativity onto me. Likewise, I cannot feel anger towards these people, who are, in a broader sense, my kin. It's against our nature to harbor hatred towards them. We are all part of a larger whole, meant to work together just like the various parts of the body, like feet, hands, eyelids, or the rows of teeth in our mouths. Cooperation is our natural state. Therefore, acting against each other is against our very nature. Feeling annoyed, holding grudges, or turning away from others are forms of conflict and resistance to this natural state of cooperation. We should strive to rise above these impulses, recognizing our shared nature and the futility of discord. This approach not only leads to personal peace, but also aligns us with the fundamental interconnectedness of all beings. Reflect on the essence of your being. It is merely a small amount of flesh, breath, and your ruling mind. Let go of your constant pursuit of knowledge through books. It's time to focus inward. Imagine yourself at the brink of death and look at your physical body with detachment. It is merely flesh, bones, and a complex network of nerves, veins, and arteries. Your breath, too, is transient, simply air drawn in and expelled, constantly changing. The most crucial part of you is your ruling mind. Recognize that you are no longer young. It's time to free this governing part of yourself from being enslaved to base impulses, like a puppet jerked around by its strings. Stop being dissatisfied with your current circumstances or fearing the future. Understand that everything aligned with the divine is infused with purpose and care. Events attributed to chance are not disconnected from nature or the overarching plans of providence. Everything originates from these divine forces, including the inevitable, and what benefits the universe as a whole, of which you are an integral part. What is beneficial for each part of nature is determined by the nature of the whole, which seeks to preserve itself. The universe sustains itself through both the transformations of the basic elements and the changes in the things made from these elements. Let these principles be your guide in firmly held beliefs. Abandon your insatiable thirst for more knowledge through books. Prepare to leave this life not in resentment, but in a state of peace, sincerity, and genuine gratitude towards the gods. Consider for a moment how long you have been postponing these essential life changes. Reflect on the numerous occasions the gods have given you to make a difference, yet you have not seized these opportunities. It's time to truly understand the universe of which you are a part, and the divine source from which your life flows. Recognize that your time is limited, and if you don't use it to dispel the fog clouding your judgment, that time will slip away forever, never to be reclaimed. In every action, remind yourself to think and act with a steadfastness of a Roman and the sensibility of a human being. Approach each task with integrity, sincerity, affection, freedom, and justice. By focusing solely on the task at hand, you can free yourself from distracting thoughts. If you approach every act as if it were your last, abandoning negligence, resistance to reason, pretense, self-centeredness, and dissatisfaction with your lot, you will find peace. Realize how few are the essentials needed for a tranquil life. akin to that of the gods. For the gods themselves ask nothing more of a person who adheres to these principles. You are doing a disservice to yourself, my soul, if you continue to neglect these truths. The opportunity to honor your true self is slipping away. Every person's life is complete in itself, but your journey is nearing its end, and yet you still do not honor your own soul. Instead, you seek fulfillment in the approval and actions of others. This is a path away from inner peace and self-respect. Embrace the time you have left to honor and revere your own being. Are you finding yourself constantly distracted by external events and situations? Take this as an opportunity to learn something new and valuable. It's time to stop being constantly tossed about by life's whirlwind. However, be cautious not to swing to the other extreme. There are those who exhaust themselves with ceaseless activity but lack a clear purpose or direction for their actions and thoughts. Remember, it's rare for someone to be unhappy because they haven't understood someone else's mind. But those who fail to reflect on their own mental processes are almost certain to encounter unhappiness. It's crucial to continually remind yourself of the nature of the universe and your place within it. Understand how your individual nature aligns with the greater whole. Realize that nothing external can stop you from acting and speaking in harmony with your true nature. Theophrastus, approaching the topic from a philosophical standpoint, makes an insightful comparison of wrongful acts. He argues, aligning with common sense, that actions driven by desire are more reprehensible than those driven by anger. His reasoning is that anger, to some extent, involves a deviation from reason under the influence of pain or unconscious resistance. In contrast, when someone acts out of desire, succumbing to pleasure, their actions appear more uncontrolled and less rational. This perspective is deeply philosophical and suggests that indulging in pleasure leads to more blameworthy behavior than acting in pain. On a broader level, the person who acts in anger could be seen as someone reacting to being wronged, driven by the comparison of their pain. On the other hand, someone driven by desire initiates wrongdoing on their own, lured by the temptation of pleasure. The distinction is crucial in understanding the nature of our actions and the motivations behind them. Contemplate the very real possibility that this moment could be your last in life. This realization should guide every decision you make and every thought you entertain. If your departure from this world is imminent and if gods do exist, there should be no fear in leaving. The gods, if benevolent, would never subject you to harm. Conversely, if gods do not exist or are indifferent to human concerns, then living in a godless or ungoverned universe should hold no particular significance for you. However, my belief is that the gods do exist and are concerned with our lives. They have endowed us with the means to avoid true misfortunes. If there were real evils, they would have also ensured that we have the capacity to completely evade them. Therefore, how can something that does not degrade one's character make their life any worse? It is unthinkable that the universe, through ignorance or impotence, has failed to address these issues. It's highly improbable that such a powerful and skilled system could make the mistake of indiscriminately distributing good and evil to both the righteous and the unrighteous. It's important to realize that events like death, life, fame, disgrace, pain, and pleasure happen to everyone, regardless of their moral fiber. Since these events do not inherently make us better or worse, they are neither inherently good nor bad. Reflect on the fleeting nature of all things in the universe. Physical forms vanish quickly, and even the memories of them fade over time. Consider the transient nature of all tangible things, especially those that entice us with pleasure, scare us with pain, or are celebrated for their fleeting fame. These things are ultimately trivial. contemptible, lowly, perishable, and devoid of life. It is the role of our intellect to see through their superficial allure. It is also crucial to understand the nature of those who confer reputation and to comprehend the true essence of death. If one examines death closely, breaking it down into its basic elements and stripping away the fantasies associated with it, it becomes clear that death is nothing more than a natural process. If someone fears such a natural occurrence, they are behaving childishly. Death is not only a natural event, but also something that serves a purpose within the grand scheme of nature. Furthermore, consider how humans can attain a degree of closeness to the divine and identify which aspect of ourselves facilitates this connection. When this part of our being is properly aligned and cultivated, we can touch upon something that is akin to the divine. It's this understanding and alignment that elevates our existence, bringing us closer to the essence of what we are meant to be, part of a larger, more profound cosmic order. Nothing is more pitiable than a person who spends their life in endless pursuit, delving into mysteries beyond their understanding or speculating about the thoughts and intentions of others. Such a person fails to recognize the importance of focusing on their own inner spirit, their personal demon, and revering it. To truly honor this inner spirit, one must keep it free from uncontrolled emotions, thoughtlessness, and dissatisfaction with what life presents, whether from divine or human sources. The blessings from the gods deserve our respect due to their inherent excellence. The actions and behaviors of our fellow humans merit our care and connection due to our shared humanity. At times, we should even feel empathy for others, understanding that their inability to discern good from evil is a significant flaw, akin to being unable to distinguish colors. Regardless of whether you live for thousands or tens of thousands of years, always remember that the only life anyone loses is the life they are currently living, and the only life anyone lives is the one they are currently losing. In this sense, the longest and shortest lives converge to the same point. The present moment is universally the same for everyone, although each individual's experience of what is transient differs. Consequently, what is lost seems inconsequential, just a fleeting moment. One cannot lose the past or the future. It is impossible to be deprived of what one does not possess. Keep in mind two key points. Firstly, all things in the universe are cyclical and recurrent, making no significant difference whether one experiences them for 100 or 1,000 years. And secondly, both the person who lives the longest and the one who dies soonest ultimately lose the same thing, the present, which is all anyone truly possesses. Understand that everything is a matter of perception. The teachings of the Cynic philosopher Marcus are clear. The value of his words lie in their practical application, provided one extracts and applies the truth they contain. The soul inflicts harm upon itself in several ways. Firstly, it does so when it becomes a source of irritation in the universe, acting against its natural course. Being upset or vexed by life's events is a form of self-harm, as it signifies a detachment from nature, which encompasses the essence of all beings. Secondly, the soul harms itself when it turns against others, whether in avoidance or with the intent to harm, as seen in those consumed by anger. Thirdly, the soul is damaged when it succumbs to overwhelming pleasure or pain. Fourthly, it harms itself when it is insincere, engaging in actions or speech that are not genuine. Fifthly, a soul is harmed when it acts without purpose, even in minor matters, as everything should be done with an intention. The ultimate goal for rational beings is to live according to reason, adhering to the principles of the universal order. Consider the nature of human life. Our time is fleeting. Our physical substance is constantly changing. Our perceptions are limited. Our bodily composition is perishable. Our soul is constantly in flux. Fortune is unpredictable, and fame is without true discernment. In summary, all that is physical is transient, and what pertains to the soul is elusive and intangible. Life is a battle, a temporary residence in a foreign land, and what comes after is forgotten. What then can guide a person through life? The answer lies in philosophy, the practice of maintaining the inner spirit unharmed and untouched by external forces, unswayed by pain or pleasure, acting deliberately and truthfully, independent of the actions or inactions of others. Philosophy involves embracing all experiences and destinies as originating from the same source from which we ourselves have emerged. It culminates in facing death with a calm spirit, understanding it as nothing more than the disintegration of the elements that constitute all living beings. If the constant transformation of elements in nature is not harmful, then the transformation and dissolution of the elements in a human being should not be feared. This aligns with nature, and nothing that aligns with nature can be truly evil. This philosophy was contemplated in Carnuntum. Chapter 4, Book 3. We should be acutely aware that not only is our time in life diminishing each day, leaving us with progressively less, but also that it's uncertain whether our mental faculties will remain sharp enough to understand and contemplate both the divine and human realms as we age. The risk is that as one grows older, they might start losing their cognitive clarity, while basic bodily functions like eating and physical desires persist. The ability to fully utilize our rational capacities, fulfill our duties, make clear judgments, and contemplate the deeper questions of life, including whether it's time to leave this world, may diminish with age. Therefore, the urgency to act and understand isn't just because death approaches, but also because our ability to comprehend and reason may decline before death. Additionally, we should appreciate that even the natural processes and outcomes, which might seem imperfect, possess their own beauty and appeal. For example, consider how bread cracks when baked, how ripe figs split open, or how olives close to decay have a unique allure. Similarly, the drooping of wheat ears, the furrowed brows of a lion, or the foam at a boar's mouth, while not conventionally beautiful when examined in isolation, contribute to the overall beauty of nature's creations, bringing pleasure to those who observe them. For someone who deeply understands and appreciates the workings of the universe, nearly every natural consequence can be seen as beautifully arranged to bring delight. Such an individual will find beauty even in the menacing jaws of wild animals, not just in art, but in the real, raw form of nature. They will see elegance in the aging of an old woman or man, and view the allure of youth with a pure and appreciative eye. This level of appreciation and enjoyment is not for everyone, but is reserved for those who have truly immersed themselves in understanding and embracing nature and her workings. Reflect on the lives and deaths of famous figures and philosophers to understand the universal nature of mortality. Hippocrates, renowned for healing countless illnesses, eventually succumbed to his own sickness and passed away. The Chaldean astrologers, who predicted the demise of many, ultimately met their own fates. Great conquerors like Alexander, Pompey, and Julius Caesar, who razed entire cities and slew thousands in battle, also eventually left this life. Heraclitus, who pondered over the great fire that consumes the universe, ironically died swollen with water and covered in mud. The philosopher Democritus, known for his laughter, was consumed by lice, as was Socrates, a figure of immense wisdom. What does all this signify? It illustrates that life is a journey. You embark, sail, and eventually reach the shore. At the end of this voyage, if there is another life, the presence of gods will continue. But if death leads to a state devoid of sensation, then you will no longer be bound by the dual forces of pain and pleasure, nor be a slave to your physical body. This body, made of earth and subject to decay, is vastly inferior to the soul, which is akin to intelligence and divinity. These reflections serve as a reminder of the transitory nature of life and the inevitability of death, regardless of one's achievements, status, or intellectual pursuits. They emphasize the importance of accepting the natural cycle of life and death, and the liberation that comes with understanding our true essence beyond the physical realm. Don't spend the rest of your life getting caught up in thoughts about other people, especially when these thoughts don't contribute to any common good. When you find yourself preoccupied with questions like what someone else is doing, their motives, their spoken words, their thoughts, or their plans, you lose precious opportunities to engage in more meaningful activities. These kinds of thoughts divert you from focusing on your own inner guidance and strengths. Therefore, it's crucial to consciously eliminate all thoughts that serve no purpose or are detrimental, particularly those arising from excessive curiosity or ill will. Train yourself to only dwell on thoughts that are constructive and that you would feel comfortable sharing openly if someone asked. Your inner dialogue should reflect clarity, kindness, and the qualities of a person who thrives in a community. You should avoid fixating on personal pleasures, indulgences, or feelings of competition, envy, or suspicion. These are thoughts that might cause embarrassment if you had to voice them out loud. Living this way, without procrastination, aligns you with the highest virtues, akin to a priest or spiritual leader who harnesses the divine essence within. Such a person remains unaffected by external pleasures, undisturbed by pain, resilient in the face of insults, and free from feeling wronged. They engage in life's most notable battles with unshakable integrity, unswayed by fleeting emotions, deeply committed to fairness, and wholeheartedly accepting their life circumstances as their rightful share. They rarely waste time and energy contemplating what others might be saying, doing, or thinking, unless it is essential for the greater good or common welfare. Such individuals focus primarily on their own responsibilities and actions, always aligning them with their purpose in life. They believe that their unique role in the grand scheme of things is positive and beneficial. Each person's destiny is intertwined with their actions and character. Also, they are mindful that every rational being is a part of their extended family, and nurturing a caring attitude towards all humanity aligns with our true nature as humans. These individuals value the opinions and insights of only those who live in harmony with nature. As for those who do not live according to these principles, they remain aware of the true nature of these individuals' lives, both in public and private. They do not seek or value approval from such people, as these individuals are often not at peace with themselves. This approach to life fosters a sense of inner peace, purpose, and alignment with one's true self and the natural order of the world. Approach your work with enthusiasm, always with an eye towards the benefit of the community. Think things through carefully, avoid getting sidetracked, and don't dress up your ideas with unnecessary embellishments. Stay away from being overly verbose or getting entangled in too many activities. Let the divine essence within you guide your actions as a mature, active participant in societal and political affairs. Be like a seasoned Roman leader, ever ready for life's call, independent of external validation or oaths. Cultivate a cheerful disposition, and don't rely on external factors or people for your inner peace. Stand firm and self-reliant, not needing others to hold you up. If in your journey through life, You discover something more fulfilling than upholding justice, honesty, moderation, courage, or the inner peace that comes from living according to rational principles and accepting the circumstances life throws at you. Then wholeheartedly pursue and enjoy that discovery. However, if you recognize that the godlike part of your being, which reigns in your desires and critically assesses your experiences, is the ultimate good, following the path laid out by philosophers like Socrates, who separated themselves from the illusions of the senses and aligned with the gods and humanity. And if this seems the most valuable thing, then let nothing else take priority. Beware of allowing lesser pursuits like the pursuit of fame, power, or physical pleasures to overshadow your higher purpose. These might seem to contribute slightly to the greater good, but often end up overpowering and leading you off course. Choose consistently what is genuinely superior. If something benefits you as a rational and ethical being, hold on to it. But if it only serves your basic instinctual needs, recognize it as such and keep your judgment unbiased, making sure you're discerning things correctly. The critical point is to realize that when you are faced with a choice, what truly matters is not the superficial appeal of these distractions, but their usefulness in fulfilling your role as a rational and moral being. The key is not to let the allure of transient worldly things compete with the pursuit of rational and ethical goodness. The lesser things, despite seeming compatible with higher goals at first, often gain the upper hand and distract us completely. So, always choose wisely and freely what is intrinsically better. Remember, the true measure of value lies in its utility to your rational nature. Maintain this perspective without arrogance, and ensure your evaluations are grounded in a reliable and thorough method of reasoning. Never consider something beneficial for yourself if it forces you to break a promise, lose your self-respect, hate someone, become suspicious or resentful, be insincere, or crave things that require secrecy. If you prioritize wisdom, your inner guiding spirit, and the pursuit of excellence, you won't find yourself in dramatic dilemmas, nor will you lament your circumstances. You won't need to be alone or in constant company. Importantly, you'll live without an obsession over avoiding or chasing death. Whether your soul remains in your body for a long or short time won't bother you. Even facing imminent death, you would accept it as readily as any other orderly and respectable task. The key is to ensure throughout your life that your thoughts don't stray from what is expected of a rational being and a member of society. In the mind of a person who is disciplined and purified, you won't find any corruption or impurity. Such a person's life isn't incomplete if it's cut short. It's like an actor leaving the stage before the play is over. There's nothing in such a person that is overly submissive, pretentious, too attached, or too detached from worldly matters. Nothing deserving criticism, nothing that needs to be concealed. Value highly the part of you that forms opinions. It's this part that determines whether you'll have thoughts that go against the nature of a rational being. This ability ensures freedom from rash judgments, fosters goodwill towards others, and ensures respect for the divine. Let go of everything and focus on just a few essential things. Remember, everyone lives only in the present moment, which is fleeting and indivisible. The rest of our life is either already gone or uncertain. Everyone's lifespan is short, and the corner of the earth where we spend it is tiny. Even the longest-lasting frame after death is brief and is maintained only by a succession of people who themselves will soon pass away and who hardly know themselves, let alone someone who died long ago. Add this to your list of tools for living. Define or describe clearly whatever situation or object you encounter to understand its true nature, its bare essence, and its totality. Name it and its components, and consider into what it will transform. This practice of systematically and truthfully examining everything you come across in life elevates the mind. Always view things in the context of what kind of universe we inhabit, the role each thing plays in it, its significance to the whole, and its relevance to humanity, as a member of the greatest community to which all other communities are mere families. Reflect on what each thing is, what it's made of, and how long it's likely to last. Consider what virtues you need to respond appropriately, like kindness, bravery, honesty, loyalty, simplicity, and contentment. On each occasion, remind yourself, this is part of the divine plan. This is the result of fate and chance. This comes from someone of the same origin, a relative and companion, though they may not understand their true nature. But I understand mine, so I will act towards them with kindness and justice, following the natural law of human connection. At the same time, I will try to determine the worth of indifferent matters. Focus wholeheartedly on the tasks at hand, guided by sound logic and intense effort, maintaining a sense of tranquility without getting distracted by irrelevant matters. Keep your inner self, your essence, untainted, as if you might have to return it imminently. Living this way with no expectations or fears, but simply enjoying the process of acting in harmony with nature and expressing unwavering truth in every situation is the key to a fulfilling life. This approach is within your control, and no one else can prevent you from achieving this state of contentment. Like a doctor who always keeps their medical tools ready for unforeseen emergencies, you should similarly have your principles readily accessible for understanding the divine and human realms, and for performing every action, big or small. This should be done with the constant awareness of the inherent link between the divine and human aspects of life. Remember, you cannot excel in human endeavors without a divine perspective, nor can you truly understand the divine without considering its impact on humanity. Stop wandering without purpose. The time for revisiting past memories, studying the histories of ancient civilizations, delving into the books you've set aside for later years is not guaranteed. Focus on what lies directly ahead. Discard vain hopes and take control of your life while you can. Understanding concepts such as theft, cultivation, commerce, silence, and discernment involves more than just physical sight. It requires a deeper, more insightful form of perception. Body, soul, and intelligence are key elements of our being. The body experiences sensations, the soul harbors desires, and the intelligence adheres to fundamental principles. Simply perceiving the world is a capacity shared with animals. Being driven by base desires is common to both wild beasts and those who have lost their moral compass, including notorious tyrants. Even individuals who deny the gods or betray their principles possess the intelligence to chase after what they perceive as beneficial. What sets a virtuous person apart, then, is their ability to remain at peace with whatever life brings, accepting their fate while keeping their inner divinity unpolluted and undisturbed. This entails maintaining inner calm, faithfully following this inner divine guidance, and consistently aligning actions and words with truth and justice. If the world fails to recognize his simple, modest, and satisfied existence, he does not let this disturb him or lead him astray from his path towards life's end. A person should aim to reach the end of their journey in a state of purity, peace, fully prepared, and in total harmony with their fate.